quick review. Top number of a fraction is always called the numerator. The bottom number is always called the denominator. And of course, over here, if you've got a large number in front of a fraction, that's our whole number. And so we're used to those parts of fractions. Now, how do we compare fractions? Well, the old-fashioned way is basically where you make sure that both of your fractions have the same bottom number. They have the same denominator. And if they have the same denominator, all you have to do is compare the top numbers, the numerator. So this has a number of 3. This has a number of 6. This one is bigger. And remember back in grade school with these inequality signs, less than, greater than, they drew the teeth in here sometimes to show you that the alligator is always eating the bigger number. Hey, it still works, whatever it takes to get the right answer. And so we would read this as 3/4 is less than 6/4. Now, what's the shortcut? Everybody's always wanting to know the shortcut. I don't want you to use the shortcut when you have to explain your work. I'd prefer you to use the proper way when you have to explain it, but when we just want the answer, the shortcut works. Okay? So here's how it happens. You're going to take this top number of the fraction on the left and multiply it by the bottom number of the fraction on the right. 3 times 4 is 12. And I want you to write that answer of this multiplication right beside the top number. And now let me switch to a different color pen. Now we come over to the other side and we say this top number 6 multiplying the bottom number of the other side. 4 times 6 is 24, and we're going to write it right beside there. Now what you do is you look at these two numbers that you've gotten from the multiplication, the 12 and the 24. Which one's bigger? 24. And so we draw our inequality sign to show that this side is bigger than this side. The only catch is that after you're done with the cross multiplying, see how the cross is over? Once you're done with the cross multiplying, you need to make sure that you put the product answers next to the top fraction number that you used. Otherwise, it'll have you giving a backwards answer. But you see, we still had the same result, that 6/4 is bigger than 3/4. What happens if the fractions don't have the same denominator? Well, it's going to happen 9 times out of 10. Very rarely will they ever have the same denominators to just outright compare. You'll have to do a little bit of work, and the proper way says that we have to make both of these fractions have the same denominator by basically finding a number that we can multiply the fraction by to change it. You've heard the saying, what you do to the bottom, you do to the top. Now, one shortcut that you can do in the proper way is, if this is a 5 on the left side fraction, take this 5 and just multiply the other fraction by the 5, top and bottom. So 3 times 5 is 15, and 8 times 5 is 40. And then if you take the 8 that's sitting over here on the right fraction, the denominator, and bring that over to the left side fraction, multiply it top and bottom by 8, and suddenly you would get, let's see, 8 times 2 is 16, 8 times 5 is 40. You now have common denominators. Now, you don't have to do it this way. Sometimes you get much larger numbers and you don't have to use it as high, but if you're looking for the fastest way to get common denominators without thinking too much, just use these bottom numbers to multiply the other fraction. And then, hey, it's easy. 16 is bigger than 15, so 2/5 is bigger than 3/8. So let's go back to the shortcut method. 2 times 8, doing the diagonal multiplication there, is 16. Notice I put this answer beside the top fraction that's involved. Let me switch over to green here. 5 times 3 is 15. And you'll notice that 16 is bigger than 15. So 2/5 is still greater than 3/8. So two different ways to get the same answer. Now we've got to deal with a couple of things here just to make sure that you understand what's going on still, but this is a mixed number. This is considered an improper fraction. Mixed numbers has a whole number and a fraction attached to it. The improper fraction is where the numerator, the top number, is bigger than the denominator, the bottom number. So I can make this into an improper fraction, or I can make this into a mixed number. Um, Usually I would say it doesn't really matter which way it goes. It changes from scenario to scenario. So let's just go ahead and make this one right here on this side into a mixed number. How do we do that? We take the top number and divide it by the bottom number. 8 goes into 27 3 times. And so that would give us 8 times 3 is 24. And hey, 24 still gives us a leftover amount of 3. Well, that leftover amount becomes your new numerator for the fraction, and then we always keep the same denominator that we have. So 27/8 is transformed into this mixed number. This is 3 and 2/5. Well, guess what? They both have the same whole number, so now we have to go and compare 2/5 and 3/8. Well, whichever one of these fractions is bigger is basically going to be the deciding factor. And conveniently, I've already set up having 2/5 and 3/8 compared. Hey, 3 and 2/5 is bigger than 3 and 3/8. What would happen if you didn't know the answer already? You'd have to go and get common denominators the same way that we did up here. Okay. Now, let me just erase that. And let's go over the other way. You can make this mixed number into an improper fraction. How do you do it? Take the bottom 5, the bottom denominator, and times it by the whole number. 3 times 5 is 15. And then you add the numerator, this 2. So 15 plus 2 is 17. Bring the 5 down, keep the same denominator. And now you've got two fractions. Now you have to go and find common denominators. Hey, you could take this 8, times it by 8 on both sides, top and bottom. Take this 5 over here. Find out your new fractions and compare. But you know what? We already know that this fraction, this mixed number of 3 and 2/5 is bigger than this improper fraction. That is a lot of work, and it gets very troublesome. So what I recommend is whenever possible, probably just go ahead and use this shortcut. For the shortcut to work, you absolutely have to have two fractions. The mixed numbers are not going to cut it. So, where we could go either way on this proper way, we've got to get it into two fractions over here. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 plus 2 is 17. So that's my new top number. Let me just pull this down right here. And now we can do the multiplication. 17 times 8 is 136. Let me just kind of circle that so that way it doesn't get lost in all these numbers. That's this product of 17 and 8. And now 5 times 27 is very, very close, but it's 135. So which one's bigger? The 136 is bigger than the 135. 3 and 2/5 is bigger than 27/8. So you've got two ways to decide how you're going to compare these fractions. You should know how to take a mixed number and flip it into an improper fraction, or take a mixed number, take an improper fraction and flip it into a mixed number also. You've got the proper way, making sure they have the same denominator and then comparing the top numerator numbers, or you can use the cross multiplication method. When you don't have to explain it. So hopefully between these two methods you'll be okay with today's lesson, so go give it a shot.